Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Gusto back in the house, and today got a very special guest coming on with us. It's going to be instructor Chonda from Confidence Reloaded. So when we return, that's who will be on with us. All right, so there we are, guys. I have Chonda here from Confidence Reloaded.
It's
Hey,
Chonda.
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 Chonda. I don't know why I say Chonda.
Most
Chonda.
people
It's
do.
like Rhonda. It's like
I
Rhonda
know.
with a C.
Yeah, it's the CH. It's a hard CH. It's
Yeah.
like cha cha.
Well, there you go. First thing we learned today, it's Chonda and not
Exactly.
Chonda. All right. All right. So we have her here today. Um, so tell us a very little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into some of the questions that we have for you.
All right. You said a very little about myself.
Yeah. Just
I don't
give,
know where do
give
you
us a
want
brief
me.
background. Give us a brief background on Chonda and where she started from and how she got to where she is today.
Uh, on the firearm side, because I know I don't want to
Sure.
I guess get into the
Yeah,
the question.
I don't need your kid. I don't need your kid background or anything like that. But like, I guess we can
It
just
all
start with the first
started.
question. Well, all started back when I was born,
I know, right?
uh,
Um, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll say like a quick background.
mhm,
I don't know. Let's see. How I got into firearms. To see. I mean, it says why and when I got into firearms. So for me, it wasn't like I really grew up around firearms. Like I didn't start at a very young age learning about them and learning the ins and outs or anything like that. It wasn't
mhm,
until I got older and funny story, like I used to live in Georgia. So one day I had an old manager and we on our lunch break. So in Georgia, the ranges used to have, they probably still do, but ladies' day. And you can go any time of the day on a certain day of the week. You could just go and shoot for free. She inherited her grandfather's 38 special. So I remember she brought it to work. It was, locked up in her trunk. We went on a lunch break over to the range and we took our lunch break and just started shooting. And that was the first time that I started shooting. And I was like, oh man, this is fun. Like, I love this. And I'm like, oh, I got to do this some more. So that was like really my first introduction into firearms.
okay,
I remember like my dad, he had firearms and things like that, but it wasn't like something that he really like introduced me to. It wasn't like, okay, here is this and this is what you do with it. I really didn't have that. And my dad, he was former law enforcement. He was a Philadelphia police officer, but I wasn't like exposed to the firearms background growing up. So it wasn't
okay,
until my adult years that I got exposed to it. Like I said, from a ladies' range day, a manager going over to the range. And then I said, hey, Dad, oh, this is what we did during lunchtime. He was like, oh, little girl. Now I was very grown at the time, but he was like, little girl, I didn't know you were into guns. And I told him about our lunch break. And then at that point, I think that was around in 2012.
okay,
And I told him what we did. And from that point forward, that's when kind of the journey of firearms for me began. That lunch break.
one
And
lunch break
that's where it started.
afternoon.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So your dad was a cop, so you kind of knew about guns, but it sounds like you weren't like, eh, well, like he took you out shooting or anything like that.
No,
So
no.
yeah, yeah. I came from a household. My father was he was an ordained minister. Him and my mom were really into church, so we were always taught guns were bad, guns were bad, guns were bad. And
Got you.
finally, at my grown age of 47, I finally said, you know what? No more. I'm gonna go learn about these things. So that's kind of where I came from.
Hmm.
So great. So since we're already into the questions a little bit,
Oh yeah.
let's go ahead and jump. Let's keep going. What
Okay.
are your top three favorite firearms? I think we kind of did the three and flee. I don't know if those are technically your top three, but let's go with your top three favorite firearms, regardless of situation. Just your top three that you like to use. Uh,
Oh,
go
and
from
you know
there.
what? When we were doing the questions, like I kind of touched on the question, but didn't, I guess, like go kind of fully into it. So I kind of messed that one up. But I know you
That's
said you're going
okay.
to edit this.
I'm gonna edit it as much as I can.
I started to get nervous. Okay, wait, hold on. So I just wanted to make sure I kind of like skip stuff. Okay, so let me make
It don't have to be
sure.
three in any particular order. Just your three favorite. I
Um,
ask this question and then I always get the man. That's hard. I'm like, okay, three favorite not three favorite handguns or three favorite rifles, whichever one you want to go with, however you want to do it.
and you know what? I really don't have. I really don't have like three favorites that were like, oh, these are my all-time favorites because I'm like looking at my gun wall. I have some that like I've developed that were like, okay, like I really love this one and I really love that one. So yeah, so when I did the three and flee challenge, which happened to be like pretty popular, um, I would say my pistol caliber carbine,
Okay.
which is my B&T APC 9.
Okay.
I really like that. They say it's the staccato of the PCCs, I guess, because it's more, I guess, high end. It's a little pricey
Okay.
for pistol caliber carbines, but it's really, really nice. I mean, um, it feels really good, you know, holding it. Like I can reach all the controls, and that's something that's really important. You got to be able to reach all the controls. So I would say my B&T. I really love my Mag 9 DS Comp
Okay.
uh, because it. I wanted a staccato at one point, but the way my bank account set up, like I was
The
like,
way his
oh,
bank account is set up, yeah.
you know,
It tells
that's
you
a little
nah.
on the pricier side. But the
Right.
Mag 9
Right.
DS Comp is something that I found that although I can shoot the staccatos very well, I've shot different models of them. But when I shot the Mag 9 DS Comp, there was something that aesthetically looks really good. When you hold it in your hand, it feels really good. And I have to go back and watch your video, Ghost Dog, because I think you got one as well.
I do.
But
Picked up the
I
five
found,
inch.
oh, you got the 5 inch one?
Yeah, I picked up the 5 inch.
Okay, yeah, I had the 4.25 inch. So I
Yeah.
find that
That's
the
what
Mag
most people seem to have.
9.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but I find that the Mag 9 DS Comp, that one, I really, really like that because it's like kind of like the budget staccato to me. Like the price point is
Hmm.
very reasonable. So if someone's looking for a budget 2011 platform that you like right out the box can just shoot and you don't really have to do any modifications to it, I would say go with the Mag 9 DS Comp. Now, if you have the money to kind of ball out and do all those modifications, change the trigger, change the
Yeah,
grip,
you can
do
stretch
all
the dial
that.
a little farther than we can. Yeah, there's some ones that are still what they would consider budget that I think are a little pricey. But
Yeah, but I would say the Mag 9 DS Comp. And then the third one, and I mean, then you said top three. I mean, it's not necessarily a top three, but I would say one I really like, and this is probably going to catch some flack, but I shoot it really well. Is my SIG P320
uh-oh.
X5DH3.
The word P320 is a very bad word in the community nowadays.
You know it though, but when I first got it, like a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the fact that it's a heavier firearm, and it
Uh-huh.
was like, oh wow, like it's a full size, and I was just, I mean, literally present to target. It's like you're shooting little like 2 inch circles like this, like boom, 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 like no problem. And I think the weight of it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's about what, like 29 ounces, and then the trigger feels good, and then suppressor height sights on it, like everything about it just is like really, really good, in a firearm. But like I said, the P320 definitely, it's catching a lot of flack because of that platform. The
Yep.
X5DH3, I haven't heard anything about that particular model. I haven't had any issues with it, but like I said, not saying that's my top three, but it's just one of the ones that I shoot very, very well and that I really, really like. Because like I said, I have several firearms here that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love this because I have an IWI Masada that I really like.
Uh-huh.
It is just like one of those firearms that people don't really talk about, but it's like, but it's a very nice firearm. So, trying to keep it kind of short and sweet, but yeah, we'll just, I
You
guess,
go with
go with
those three. You go
for
those
now.
three. All right. For now, it'll
It's not like
subject
the
to change. Subject to change. This isn't concrete.
yeah,
Tinkaminga
like I said,
thing.
it's not the my all-time favorite, but like just ones that I'm like, you know what, as far as a very nice firearm that I shoot very well. Like I have several that I
Mhm.
shoot very well, but like just the name off top, I'm like, you know what, these are ones that are like, boom, here they are.
Awesome. So your YouTube name is Confidence Reloaded.
Hmm.
Explain how you came up with that and, with it and its meaning for you.
Okay. Yeah, so Confidence Reloaded. When you think about reloaded, it was kind of like a play on words. Like when you reload, the chamber, reloading,
Mhm.
the magazine, your firearm. I thought of it as like a way of reloading my comments, reloading myself, or you're just reloading yourself, period. And for me, I created the channel during like really one of the hardest times in my life because I was in a really bad accident in April of 2024,
Oh wow.
where car accident ended up at the ER, but I sustained a concussion, fractured wrist of my dominant hand, and ended up getting surgery last June. And but the concussion was like really substantial, and so because I had to go through a lot of concussion therapy, um, the short-term memory loss was like really, really bad. I had like really
Mhm.
hard time finding my words, and I would
Mhm.
often say the wrong words or flip my words. And so when I created the channel, I was going through like my speech therapy. And so because I had a fractured wrist, I know I couldn't get out there and teach physically, but I still wanted to be able to be a blessing to others and be able to teach 2A, all things firearms. So I'm like, well, okay, what can we do? And so because my therapist said, okay, like do things that will help train your brain. Okay, so get on these apps, do this, do that, do brain exercises. So I'm like, all right, what can I do with the channel? So a lot of the earlier videos for me, I was not on camera, but I had my little scripts. I had things written out, typed out. So a lot of my earlier videos were me just talking, and I created videos off camera because I really didn't have the capacity or the memory to like get on camera to memorize everything. And
Yeah.
when I started
No,
to
I get
get
that.
on camera, it was a lot of like clicking off, and I'm like I had to speak like very short sentences because I would forget like very quickly. Hence why a lot of times I have notes so I can kind of stay on track or kind of remember where I'm at. But yeah, here we are, like what, a year and 9 months later, and yeah, it took a long time to I guess recover. But yeah, they said I had suffered like a traumatic brain injury, so it affected some of the cognitive things and stuff like that. So really it came out of a place of just wanting to continue on with my firearms education and also
Mhm.
be able to help others that are new to firearms or maybe already well within their journey, and just put out education and empowerment videos for those that are looking to rebuild their confidence and also help to rebuild my confidence in the process.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, to God be the glory that you are here,
Amen.
because it sounds like you went through a little bit of something. So we thank Him for that.
Yes.
So this next question came from one of my subscribers, and he's also a fellow content creator in the 2A space,
Mhm.
named King Tech Reload, or King
Yes.
Tech Reload.
Yes.
He said he wanted to say, what made you become an instructor, and what was the process for you?
Yes. That's a great question. And I also had a few people ask me that. Also, more recently, shout out to Arkansas Minuteman, I think is his channel. He asked me
Okay.
about it as well, because I know I do have people that are curious about the process. And I know for me, I'm both NRA certified and USCCA certified, as well as a range safety officer for USCCA. But
Awesome.
thank you. But for me, that journey really it started back in what was it 2022. Yeah,
Mhm.
2022. I attended an NRA Women on Target event, and I was just a student. And at that point I was probably on like a few year hiatus from shooting because my dad had passed in 2019, and I was going to just kind of let go of firearms. But then I attended the event, and I met one of the instructors there,
Mhm.
that he saw me shooting. I was rusty. For y'all that don't know, shooting is a perishable skill, so make sure you stay up on your training.
There
But
you go.
he saw something in me and said that I can be an instructor. And I'm like, what? So that's when the seed was planted. And he talked to me about, becoming my mentor. So
Mhm.
that's when it was planted. And then fast forward, talked to me about the gun club that he was a part of. And that's kind of like another discussion, or we can even touch on that here if time permits. But fast forward to join the gun club. Shout out to that gun talk, Naga, Philadelphia.
There you go.
And from there, I began training. And from about 2012, 2013, which when I got my first firearm, my dad started with me with the M&P Shield 40 caliber. I do not recommend that for everyone to start with the 40, but that's what my dad started me with. And when I got that in 2013, I was just practicing and practicing. But it wasn't until I got with the gun club around 2022 that I really began like formal training.
Mhm.
So from there, I began to really hone in on my skills. And then in 2023, I believe. Yeah, 2023, November 2023, I did the USCCA class. So with USCCA, it's 2 days. Yeah, it's a 2 day class. So you have more so, you're going to have like scenario based. You're going to have to get in front of the class. It was more group based, but you're going to have to teach. So they may give you some slides. So you're going to have to present to the class, because what the USCCA provides, they give you the decks, they give you the PowerPoint presentations, which may be
Mhm.
like basic handgun. It may be the curriculum is concealed carry and home defense, but you have a 2 day curriculum where you focus on, the fundamentals and things like that. So it was a lot of classroom, a lot of group-based activities, and we also, on the second day, we went to the range. So you did have a shooting qualification. And actually, I think I do have my little notes pulled up. 1 second.
Yep. No worries.
Because I had some
They're
that it was
never.
just like,
Yeah, they're never close by when you need them. You always have to go find them.
yeah, because you know what? I had them where I had it like kind of like side by side.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what? There it is. But okay, but anyway, if I find it. But yeah, so pretty much it was a 2 day class. And at the end of it, you, of course, you're going to have a test and everything like that to make sure that you, um, oh my gosh, now I lost my train of thought. Make sure that you held on to all the fundamentals. But before we actually had the class, there was an e-learning portion that you complete
Okay.
through the USCCA portal. So that was something that at your own pace prior to the class, there was a whole e-learning portion that we had to do. Um, I, it was the same class that you would teach. So it's the concealed carry and home defense that you would be teaching. That's what the e-learning portion was. So for USCCA, the curriculum that you would be teaching is the class that you would do on the e-learning portion. And then when you had the actual 2-day class, you learn everything there is to know about the actual class that you would be teaching. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of scenario based. And then you would present in groups. You would present in front of the class. You get graded on it and things like that. Get your critique, your feedback. And then the next day, I think it was still a classroom portion, and then you would go to the range. The NRA, similar, it was still 2 days. Oh, you know what? Back to the range portion. I think it was 4, 7, 10, maybe 15 yards. And it was a total, maybe a 50 rounds. So you had to score, I think, at least an 80%, I believe.
Okay.
Is what the qualifier was. And then the NRA, I think it was similar. So maybe like the different yardages. And then 2 days. One of like the key differences though, like with between the NRA and the USCCA, NRA is more, I think that's more like probably like marksmanship and precision. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
the USCCA is more like scenario based, or what they would say like, I guess like modern, I guess the curriculum, because it has the way that the decks are formulated. They have like the concealed carry home defense. You're going to have your different scenario based trainings and things like that. So different aspects, and it really depends on what you're looking to teach, but they both bring value. Like I said, I am certified in both. I do more teaching on the USCCA side, but not to say that the NRA doesn't have value, because one of the things that I did do recently with the NRA, I did volunteer, say for instance, with the NRA Women on Target, where I was one of the like instructors that helped at the event. So,
Okay.
you can do different things as well, but you can teach like the course lows, which would be a basic pistol, because that's what I'm certified in, basic pistol for NRA.
Mm-hmm.
But then USCCA, it's concealed carry and home defense. So it can break down into a basic handgun. You can do drawing from the holster, home safety, personal safety, things of that nature.
Awesome. Awesome. So I didn't have this question written down, but since you brought up USCCA, not that long ago, I put together a list of self-defense products that you could purchase. One of them was the USCCA. Do you have to be, in order to become a USCCA instructor, do you have to partake into the USCCA program for their firearm insurance coverage?
As far as their having their liability insurance, you mean?
Yeah, right.
No, you don't. I actually had it already myself personally before becoming an instructor. Like I had
Okay,
them for my liability, but it's not a requirement. Um,
gotcha.
you know, if I encourage people, if you are looking for liability coverage, there's different companies out there. I hear about
Mm-hmm.
US Law Shield, USCCA.
Yep.
I think there's other ones out there. So I
Oh, there's
highly,
several.
mhm,
Yeah, I touched bases on 6 different companies that either are
okay,
insurance companies or just lawyers who do coverage, and there's way more than that out there.
right. So yeah, it's not a requirement. Same thing with once you become an instructor, you have to get liability coverage for when you are actually teaching and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a requirement to have your instructor coverage with USCCA, but I happen to have it with them just to keep everything kind of
Keep everything
in-house,
under
but
one
it's not
umbrella.
required.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, gotcha. Got you. Just a follow up question because that I'm sure somebody would have asked that if I hadn't in the comments later.
Mhm.
So great, thanks for that.